Hi everyone, I'm your host Diva Danielle, and this is Community Link AZ. Thank you for joining the show. This is the internet show that's a resource for you to people, products, and services in your own backyard you might not even know of. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode. Each week, I'll introduce you to someone who is helping to make a positive difference in the community. We're going to have some fun, learn something new, and connect in a positive way. Let's start the show. Hi everyone, and welcome to Community Link AZ. I'm your host Diva Danielle, and again I am back out in the community, and I have another organization that you need to know about. If it's your first time to my YouTube channel, well hey, welcome. I appreciate you being here, but you know what? You can't just watch the videos. You got to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Today we're going to be talking about something that is crucial, and it's happening right here in our community, and it affects the population of individuals who have disabilities. But this organization, which is the Arizona Developmental Disabilities Planning Council, long title, is doing their part to make a difference, to make sure that their voices as disabled individuals is heard, and they have the things they need so they can live a productive life. So we're with the executive director. This is John Myers, and it's nice to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here.
And you know, first and foremost, I didn't even know this organization existed. But you're doing some fantastic work in the community, so give us a little insight on who you are and the work you do.
Happy to do that. You know, we are kind of a well-kept secret. The Arizona Developmental Disabilities Planning Council, or ADDPC, or just the council, has been around for quite a long time. We were established, actually councils like ours were established across the country as part of the Federal Developmental Disabilities Act that first was passed in the early 70s, was reauthorized in the year 2000. So we've been around for a while, and we've been supporting projects and programs that benefit people with intellectual and developmental disabilities all that time.
And you do a great job, and as a resource, because this is what the show is for, it's a resource. How do people find out about you and the work you do?
Well, the easiest way to find out is to visit our website, which is addpc.az.gov. A lot of information on the website about the work we do, about the grants we support. We are a grant-making organization, so we're providing funding to communities around the state, and always interested in getting more applications for our funding. But visit our website at addpc.az.gov.
And I want to just reiterate that this organization is definitely putting their conscious effort forward to make a difference in the lives of individuals with disabilities. So if this is a great resource for you or somebody else you know, you need to tap into it. We're going to continue the conversation because we're going to talk about something that is extremely important. No one's civil rights should be taken away from them, and your means of communication is all you have. And so when these individuals with disability have communication devices taken from them, it affects them greatly, and we don't want to have that happen. So we're going to take and walk and have a little seat, and we're going to continue this conversation, so don't go anywhere. Well, now that we've taken a seat, we're going to get into the meat of our conversation here. Once again, with the Arizona Developmental Disabilities Planning Council, Executive Director John Myers is here to enlighten us and tell us about some of the issues they've been facing with our individuals in the community who are living with disabilities. And they are thriving, but sometimes things get in the way and people want to dismiss them. And when it comes to their communication, we're going to find out how we can do our part in the community to support this organization when it comes to alternative means of communication for individuals with disabilities so their civil rights are not violated. So John, let's first and foremost let everybody know what it is you're dealing with when it comes to these communication devices being taken from these individuals.
Well, by way of a little bit of background, what we discovered about a year ago was that there's really kind of a crisis in the state of Arizona around response to behavioral health challenges on the part of people with disabilities, with intellectual and developmental disabilities in particular. And a great many folks who have IDD use alternative or augmentative communication devices, we call them AAC devices, in order to communicate because they're nonverbal, they have limited verbal capacity, or they are just temperamentally more comfortable using a device to help them communicate with others. And what we found in the work we were doing on behavioral health crisis response is that frequently these folks who use these devices have their devices taken away from them by law enforcement officers or by healthcare facilities or by a variety of other providers. And essentially what that does is it removes their ability to communicate their circumstances, to communicate their challenges to the people who are supposed to be in a position to serve them. So what we then learned beyond that is that in many other settings, even outside of the behavioral health world, there are group home providers, there are other service providers for people with IDD who are often taking these devices as a means of punishment if their behaviors are not what they are supposed to be, or sometimes just arbitrarily taking these devices from them. And again, you're removing their ability to communicate with the outside world when you do that. It is absolutely a violation of their civil rights. Even more fundamentally, it's a violation of their ability to have an exchange, to have an interchange with other people who are important,
yes,
and people who are supposed to be providing them support. So we have been battling for the better part of a year now to try and raise awareness about this issue and to try and get attention from the various state agencies who oversee provider organizations, who oversee healthcare, who oversee crisis response, to make sure that they are communicating to providers that this is not okay. Mm-hmm. They cannot be doing this. It is fundamentally wrong. It is a violation of rights, and it goes against their contract standards with state agencies. So we've had some success. We certainly have alerted more providers. We've alerted state agencies, I guess, who in turn have alerted provider agencies about the necessity of finding other ways of working with members, but allowing them to maintain access to their communication devices, or when that communication device can potentially pose a hazard to other people, because some of them, they're in many cases, they're like iPads. They're something that if you're struck with them, you could be hurt.
Oh, yeah,
we don't want that to happen.
No, we don't want anything like that to happen. But
right.
You still want them to be able to have the ability to communicate. This is the only thing they have.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So if it becomes necessary, if they absolutely have to have their device taken away, it's important to provide an alternative means of communication. Mm-hmm. And there are some simplified mechanisms to ensure people can still communicate. They may not be as sophisticated as the AAC devices they have, but they still provide a means for people to make their needs and their wishes known.
So those are the challenges that you are facing, that people who have their devices taken from them are not being given the opportunity to say, well then here, use this instead so you can still communicate.
Yes, in those settings where the devices are being taken away, too seldom is there an alternative made available to them. So we want to make sure, first and foremost, that people can maintain access to their devices in the vast majority of cases. And again, when it's absolutely essential to take those devices away, that there is an alternative means of communication so that they aren't left voiceless.
And so how do we get people to understand the importance of this, also to back you, and so this doesn't happen, and we can create that change so the alternative devices or their alternative means are given to the individuals with the disability so they can continue to communicate and not feel like they're just left in the dark and nobody's caring about them and their voice is not being heard, they're being silenced.
Yes, the most important thing people can do is share with us at the council or share with a number of other organizations who work with us their stories. Mm-hmm. Let us know when these devices have been taken away. Let us know what the circumstances have been and what the outcomes have been. We actually have created a Google form that people can go online and fill out. It comes directly to us here at the council. It's kept confidential, but it allows us to understand the frequency with which these incidents are taking place. It allows us to then go back to our policymakers and say, look, here's how often this is happening. Here are the outcomes resulting from this. We have to do a better job.
So you have tangible, hard evidence, you have statistics, numbers, and you have stories coming from individuals to back up what you're saying as a need of importance to get this done.
Absolutely. And sometimes these stories are just heart-wrenching.
Yeah, it's horrific. That
yes.
You're silenced. Who wants to be silenced?
Exactly, exactly.
So I love the work that you're doing, though. This is to be commended.
Thank you, thank you. Well, we see ourselves as advocates on behalf of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Members of our staff have disabilities. We work very closely with individuals who have IDD on a daily basis, and it is a commitment that we as individuals have made. It's a commitment that we as an organization have made. We have to be a voice for them when they are left voiceless, but more importantly, we have to make sure that they are not left voiceless.
Oh, I almost want to say like an amen to that. Well, I appreciate you being on the show. This is an insight, it's an eye-opener. And again, if you know someone with disabilities who could use this as a resource, or if you want to just share this information, I would greatly appreciate it, because that's what the show is for. But remember, you can't just watch these videos. You have to subscribe, you have to share, and you have to let people know about Community Link AZ so we can make a difference for organizations just like this one, who is doing their part to help out those individuals in the community so their voices are not silenced. I appreciate you being here on the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, you make it a great day. And again, thanks for watching Community Link AZ, and I will see you next time.